Welcome to the Ian and Tyler Show, free agency edition. We're going to start it off by obviously the big news with the New England Patriots, Wes Welker, on the Denver Broncos now is a 2-year, $12 million deal. Just $2 million more than what the Patriots had offered to him. Ian, how does this transaction make you feel?
Well, it's a good move for the Broncos. I mean, Wes Welker's a great player. Over the last 6 years, more catches in the NFL than anyone else in history, like over a 6-year period. So they're getting a great player, and obviously with Manning there, just dumping it off to him in the slot, like he's going to help him out so much, especially with Decker and Thomas on the outside, and Manning another year coming off that shoulder. I mean, coming off the neck surgery, it's just going to help him out a lot more. And Welker's a great sign for him at just $6 million a year. And obviously, as a Patriots fan, you don't like it because Welker's going to, a rival in the Broncos with Manning, but they signed Amendola, so hopefully he should fill the void, but I don't think he'll be able to, as Wes Welker did, but I still think he'll be a good sign for the Patriots. How do you feel, Tyler?
As you mentioned, they signed Danny Amendola for a 5-year, $31 million contract. My favorite team, is obviously the Vikings, but my second favorite is the New England Patriots. And to be honest, I'm in love with the signing of Danny Amendola, just because he's been compared to Welker every season. Obviously, you could say that he's not as good as Wes Welker, but I think the difference is Tom Brady is the quarterback, and I think Danny Amendola will come in and just completely take off with the Patriots, and will have a great career with them. The next big free agent transaction was the Minnesota Vikings. And Percy Harvin, he went to Seattle for at least a first-round pick. The details haven't been completely said yet. Ian, how do you feel about this one?
Well, it's a good move for the Seahawks. I mean, Russell Wilson just getting a security blanket underneath, kind of like Welker. He can play in the slot. He can beat you downfield deep. And, I mean, Harvin's a good wide receiver. He was a good wide receiver for the Vikings. Obviously, now he's got a much better quarterback in Russell Wilson. And, I mean, it's just a great move for the Seahawks, just as they keep inching closer towards, winning a Super Bowl. But for the Vikings, I don't like this move. I mean, that's taking a step back after such a great year, getting as far as they did. Peterson with a great season, and I mean, Christian Ponder's not the best quarterback in the world, and especially now without Percy Harvin, that's going to hurt him.
A couple other pickups in the league yesterday. Reggie Bush of the Miami Dolphins signed with the Detroit Lions. That was a 4-year, $16 million contract. I love that. I love that move as far as the Dolphins go, just to clear out some money. And Reggie Bush is on a new team, and it's a perfect spot for a running back. A couple more big splashes, I guess you could call them, from yesterday was Mike Wallace going from the Steelers to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, this is a perfect move for them just because they've been looking for that big receiver that can really stretch the field for them, and I think it's going to be key for them winning in the AFC East next year. Ian, how do you feel about Mike Wallace?
Well, I think he's a great sign for the Dolphins. I mean, 5 years, $60 million, it's a little hefty price tag, but I think he'll be worth it for them, especially with Ryan Tannehill as he continues to develop, especially just coming off a rookie year. I think having a wide receiver of that caliber will help him tremendously. I mean, he's had Hartline and Devon Best last year, but, I mean, they're not the caliber wide receiver that Mike Wallace is, and I think that it really helped them out. And back to the Bush signing, I think for Detroit, I think that's a great move for them because Jabba Best with the concussions, you don't know what's going to happen with him. And, Reggie Bush, he's not a true running back in the sense that he can go out and catch passes too, kind of like a Darren Sproles kind of guy coming out of the backfield, making some catches. And I think that in that passing offense with Stafford and Calvin Johnson, I think Bush will fit in nicely there.
One of the other big moves yesterday was the 49ers cornerback Deshaun Goldson is now a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. That was a big contract. That was 5 years, $41.25 million. One of the bigger moves as far as defensive players go for free agency so far. Another player that the Steelers lose is Rashard Mendenhall. They lost him to the Cardinals on a 1-year deal. I like that as far as the Cardinals go, just because they need to establish a running game and maybe get more players around Larry Fitzgerald on their offense and really get that offense going. How do you feel about those two moves?
Well, I think Mendenhall is going to be a good sign for the Cardinals. I mean, just a one-year deal, so go in and try to establish your value and then re-sign or test free agency next year. And I think he's a pretty good running back. I mean, he's been banged up last year, but I think for the Cardinals, I think that's just what they need. They cut Beanie well, so I think Mendenhall has a clear path to be the starter there, and I think he can do just that. I mean, he was a pretty good running back for the Steelers. Things didn't work out for him in the end, but I think he'll be a good sign for the Cardinals. And Deshaun Goldstein going to the Bucs, I think that's a fantastic signing by them. I mean, last year going out in free agency, getting Vincent Jackson and Carl Nix, and then drafting Doug Martin, and then this year going out and getting Goldston. I mean, that just really helps them because defensively they weren't good last year. Offensively they were pretty good, but now getting a guy like Goldston to help their defense, I mean, that's just going to help them so much, especially in the NFC South with good passing offenses like the Falcons and the Saints. I think that'll really help improve the Bucs' chances for next year.
Arizona also added Josh Cripps to their roster yesterday. A couple other big moves was, well, Jake Long has been talking to the Rams, and they're not really sure if it's been official yet, if Jake Long has come to terms with the Rams, but that's where it looks like he'll go. For the Chiefs, they obviously got Alex Smith, Dwayne Bowe re-signed, and they just got Donnie Avery also, so that'll definitely improve their offense. Another big story was the Ravens defense basically disintegrating. Obviously losing Ray Lewis to retirement. Ed Reed was talking to the Texans today. Kruger went to the Browns, and where did Otterby go?
He went to the Dolphins.
Otterby to the Dolphins. So that's obviously a big blow to their defense, especially if they lose Ed Reed. How does the Ravens' departures make you feel?
Well, I mean, I don't understand what they're doing there. I mean, signing Flacco after winning the Super Bowl, I think that's a great sign, but for $20 million a year, it's a bit of a hefty price tag for a quarterback who's not really been great throughout his career, but he's been pretty good, and then this year had a good postseason. But if he can play like he did in the postseason, it'll be a good sign. You know, the Bolden trade, I just don't like that, especially trading him to a rival in the 49ers, a team that was so close to winning the Super Bowl, playing against the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And I think, you know, a guy like Bolden will help take over, especially if Moss doesn't come back. And 49ers had Crabtree emerge, so that'll help them. But for the Ravens, I mean, you have Torrey Smith and Dennis Pitta, but now you're kind of missing a big receiver on your team in Anquan Bolden, and I think he'll really be missed by the Ravens unless they try to give the ball more to Ray Rice, but that hasn't really worked out in the past in terms of piling the workload on him. And I think from a defensive standpoint, I mean, losing Ray Lewis to retirement, losing Ella Reed to the Dolphins, and then Pollard and Reed, free agents, Pollard being cut and Reed's contract being up, I think that'll really hurt them, especially with their linebacking core. I mean, Ray Lewis was just a leader on the field for them, and I think they're really going to miss him. And now they're going to have to bring in some younger guys, and, you know, they might be more athletic and healthier, but, you know, you got to be smart out there on the field, and just those guys are very smart, and they really know what they're doing out there, and to have the talent really helps them. I don't like the moves by the Ravens, unless they re-sign Ed Reed, but I think they really need to sign some of those defensive guys again.
Another big story about this free agency this year is a lot of veterans are out there. Michael Turner, Osi Umenyiora, Charles Woodson, obviously Ed Reed, Pollard was cut. Dwight Freeney, obviously a big one because he's been with the Colts for a long time. I just think that, and obviously Tony Gonzalez is out there. Not sure if he's going to come, if he's going to retire or not. He isn't. I don't think he said. But, and obviously Brian Urlacher. I'm just surprised that a lot of these teams haven't scooped up these veterans quicker.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is the veterans, you know, they want to wait it out and see what's out there because they want to be on a contending team. And I mean, why would you, especially at this point in your career with a guy like Urlacher and Gonzalez? Gonzalez said he's probably going to come back, but he's still technically a free agent, so the Falcons would have to re-sign him, but he'll probably end up there, and I think that'd be a good move for the Falcons. And yeah, a lot of these teams that are one piece away, I think a lot of these veterans could help a lot of teams.
Another thing that I would like to talk about is possible pickups for the New England Patriots. In my opinion, I'd like to see them get someone like John Abraham that used to be on the Falcons. maybe a Carlos Dansby, maybe even like, well, hopefully they'll re-sign Aqib Talib, but if they could get like Bernard Pollard just to get that secondary like going again, considering they lost Patrick Chung, I would just love to see one of those tough, like hard-nosed defensive guys on the Patriots team. What do you think would be another good option for them?
Yeah, I think Pollard would be a great option for them, especially at safety. You know, they have McCourty back there, Tavon Wilson, the second-round rookie from last year. I mean, those guys are good, but Bernard Pollard, only 29 years old, led the Ravens in tackles last year. I mean, he's just a physical player, and he's done some damage to the Patriots before, but I think he would be great for them. He's that hard-hitting safety, the Rodney Harrison type, and I think that'd be huge for the Patriots. It's kind of what they've been missing is the edge on defense, and I think he could bring it. I also think Carlos Dansby, former linebacker from the Miami Dolphins, he could bring that as well. I think, you know, a middle linebacker guy, kind of like a Jerron Mayo, good tackler, and I think he'd just be a good run stopper there and decent in pass coverage, and I think that having another guy like that, just a solid player on defense, would really help them out.
A lot of people have been suggesting a big wideout like Greg Jennings, but he's been talking to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm very proud to say that today, and I think that would be a huge addition for the Vikings, not so much the Patriots, but that was just another guy out there. The last thing that I want to talk about is how the AFC East is going to play out next year. A team like the Bills, it's just they dropped Ryan Fitzpatrick and haven't really been doing too much as far as free agents go. The Dolphins obviously making the big splash with Mike Wallace and then losing Reggie Bush to free agency. Obviously the Patriots have been making some moves. What do you think the AFC is going to be like next year?
Well, I think to start off with your first point about the Bills, I think, you know, coming off the offseason last year, you know, bringing in Mario Williams, they thought they had the revamped defense. It just didn't work out, especially offensively for them. Their defense kind of improved throughout the year, but, you know, I think they just wanted to go into this next season, you know, kind of having a low-key offseason. Probably going to get a quarterback now that they've cut Fitzpatrick, but I don't see them being major players in the AFC East next year. As for the Jets, Sean Green left, and their quarterback situation is still a mess. And Darrelle Revis on defense, who knows with him if he's going to be a Jet when the regular season starts. So that's a big concern for them too. And then the Dolphins, you know, I like their moves, but I just still think that they're mostly a young team, and the guys they brought in will help, but I don't think they're ready to compete with the Patriots yet. They're still not on that level, but I think they could be a solid second-place team this year.
Well, that does it for our show, our free agency show. If you didn't notice, we have a Wes Welker jersey back here with a big X on it because he's out of here. So I hope that we gave you the information that you needed, and we should be back soon talking about baseball, maybe some more NFL news. Thank you for watching.